Hello, my name's Donna Page. My website's Loving Light Astrologer. Thank you for joining me for this Saturn in Capricorn. It will be here for all of 2018, all of 2019, and part of 2020. We will be experiencing Saturn in Capricorn. Now, Saturn in Capricorn will take us on a journey that explores the values that Capricorn values: respect, patience, preservation, history, preparing, and planning are all part of what will become prevalent over the next 3 years. Saturn enters Capricorn December 19th of this year, 2017, and will be traveling through the sign all of 2018, 2019, and part of 2020, when it will briefly cross the border into Aquarius in April, May, and June, before slipping back into the final pass of Capricorn for the rest of the year, before it re-enters Aquarius on December 17th, 2020. Saturn was in Capricorn 1929 to 1932, January 59 to 62, November 88 to February 91. Historically, when Saturn is in Capricorn, such as 29 to 32, it was the Great Depression. 59 to 62, it was the Cuban Missile Crisis, Cold War fears, the 6-month bear market. 89 was the fall of the Berlin Wall. The era of the Great Depression required most of the conservative use of all material to squeeze out of every tea bag, so to speak. So we were, as the people, were forced to make do with what they had. The next go around with Saturn and Capricorn between 59 to 62 was filled with the fear of communism and being bombed, which resulted in covert missions in Vietnam to keep the Communist Party at bay, along with the space race to the moon. It is not to be undone and have the prestige of getting there first, because Capricorn is prestige, respect. Also, during this time, civil rights and the demand for respect, regardless of race, religion, or sex. In 1989, saw the fall of the Berlin Wall, symbolic of breaking down the old regimes. Whenever Saturn travels, wherever it travels, it brings a serious examination of the concerns and issues of that sign. So Saturn in its rulership in Capricorn has tremendous strength to get things done. As Saturn moves through Capricorn, the pendulum swings towards more conservatism. Fashions may turn away from the more casual apparel to a more polished look. Status symbols that show that one has, quote-unquote, made it, whatever that means, can be pushed even more so by the advertising media. These are a couple of the outward superficial signs that you will encounter during this time. On a personal level, deep feelings will be stirred that time is moving on. Saturn in Capricorn acknowledges that the value of time. And on one hand, it's the time that it takes to prepare and develop something worthwhile. And on the other hand, that there is only so much time we are allotted, and the importance of using our time wisely. Saturn in Capricorn in relationships. Okay, so what's it mean for relationships? Relationships that do not respect each other, especially when one's personal goals or emotional boundaries are pushed. That will be problematic. Showing up on time for dates, doing what you said you would do, not cutting corners or making excuses will all be appreciated in relationships over the next couple of years. The shadow side of this energy in relationships can come out when individuals have not dealt with their own stuff, like resentment, disappointment, regrets. Discord can creep up and out and end up as emotional baggage of significant others in the form of one-upmanship, shaming, backhanded compliments, criticism, or just plain old verbal abuse. Financially, the swing towards getting the best value for your money will outpace, will I buy it because it's the newest, coolest, available, and I'll worry about the payments later attitude. More and more individuals will be requesting to be rewarded for a job well done. A critical eye will fall on the CEOs of the corporate world, and whether they are squirreling away huge profits while ignoring ethical concerns for the company. The fallout of unethical behavior from large institutions, banks, governments, megacorporations will continue, and accountability for past actions will be in the headlines. The economy will continue to move along steady until the last year of Saturn in Capricorn, in which financial stumbles in the business market show up. There's a little iffy about the eclipse in 2017, but basically, there is a shadow side of Saturn in Capricorn that brings out worry around vulnerable areas of life. Certain signs and years of birth may be more susceptible to the Capricorn Saturn than others. If one has been harboring a fear of being left alone and broke. The sensitive years are if you're born in 1952 to 1954, 1959 to 1962, 1981 to 1983, 1989 to 1990. These are signs of more sensitivity to the fear side of Saturn, and will be more so for Capricorns and for Cancers. If you have an underlying concern that you are being left out of the good things in life, money, career, prestige, relationships, health, know that the shadow side of Saturn is at work in your life, and you can flip it around by confronting what you fear and making a plan to do the best you can with the circumstances you have. Now here's for all the signs. Aries. This is for Aries Sun, Aries Rising. With Saturn traveling through the sector of your chart for career in December 2017, 18, 19, and part of 20. This is a time to explore if you are happy with what you are doing. If not, the next couple of years will bring an opportunity for you to get a new job. Patience and hard work will be rewarded. Important factors will be to take your time to get things right, be willing to take a risk when you are reasonably confident that you are ready, and reflect on the path your career is taking you on and whether the destination is one that you want to get to. Now, this is for Taurus. Taurus. As Saturn goes through Capricorn, it is suggesting that you take a hard look at whether or not your educational needs an upgrade to take you to the financial and career goals that you have set for yourself. This is also a time for plans for travel. Even if you are not able to take advantage of dream vacations or trips in the near future, making plans and saving for your bucket list of where you want to go before your life is complete is now. A subtle message from Saturn is a rethink of your faith and belief system. If you have been in an organized church or religious environment, then it's possible that you may find that you part ways and find another place that resonates with your current thoughts and beliefs. This is for Gemini. Gemini, Saturn moving through Capricorn, it will be traveling through the sector of your chart that will demand its attention towards practical, if not boring, aspects of life, such as rethinking your insurance needs. Is it time to get more, get less? Making sure you're safe in case of safe in case of what could be. It's important while Saturn is in Capricorn to think of these things while it's going through that sector of your chart. Another part of this time frame is when relationships that have been on the rocks, or relationships that you feel are not sharing their fair load, it is a time to renegotiate the terms of the relationship. Even romantic relationships can turn a bit businesslike. It is also a time, if you've been pondering going into business with somebody and pooling your resources, while Saturn is in Capricorn, you could feel this is the time to do it. Just be careful, extra careful, and remember that Saturn business-like method in ironing out the details of who is responsible for what. And last but not least, Gemini, Saturn traveling through your sector of sex will result in being quite serious about what you want or don't want in that department of life. Now, Cancer. This is for Cancer Sun, Cancer Ascendant. Saturn will be spending the 2.5, almost 3 years across the skies from you. It will be opposite your sign. This is a deeply reflective time to realize and work towards refining the diamond in the rough that you are. Others will play an important role in helping you see this. Some of this occurs by realizing how you feel when you are around them. And if the company that you have been keeping is uncomfortable, you might say goodbye. Others will encourage you to do your best. They can be a role model that you aspire to. If you are single, this transit is about not wasting time with relationships that you know are surface fluff and not someone you really want to be around with. If you feel that it's better to be lonely temporarily than to get trapped in a relationship that is difficult to extricate yourself from. So that's your meditation for that. Leo, Leo, Leo. Saturn will be moving into your sector of your chart called the 6th house. That deals with health and routines. You might as well get the guest room ready for Saturn in order to be able to get along as best you can with this somewhat cantankerous border that Saturn can be in the 6th house. While Saturn travels through this area of the zodiac, it will become clear to you that your habits, whether they're good ones or troublesome, have consequences. Now is the time to motivate yourself to get in your best shape possible for your age and circumstance. Saturn will help by giving you plenty of hints of how you can set up a routine and schedule around working out and clean eating. In fact, another area of life that will be impacted is your work, the type of work that is necessary in order to have the career goals that you want. This includes jobs that are stepping stones to something better. If you have people that work for you, this is also a time to listen to your intuition on who to hire and who to fire. A goal of Saturn while in Capricorn is to get super healthy and put into the routine of your days, taking care of the little things so they never get too piled up or become overwhelming. Virgo. The next few years, while Saturn is moving through Capricorn, will emphasize romantic partnerships, children, and hobbies that are near and dear to your heart. Saturn carries a heavy stick when walking through the love affair sector of your chart. Keep your mind alert for signs of lovers who do more of the taking than the giving. Beware that if you are swept off your feet in a fantasy love affair, you may take a tumble to see what is the real value that the romantic partner brings to your life. This is also a time to take out of your closet your easels, paints, musical instrument, garden gloves, cameras, whatever strikes a fancy in your heart that opens up the valves of creativity. Gathering friends together to rekindle the spirit of fun is in the works for the next couple of years. What hobby have you set aside? Is it tennis, bowling, photography, hiking, pottery, painting? What is your thing? If you have been so busy working, now is the time to take on an interest. It is meant to be for fun and leisure, but you may find that your hobby leads to second income down the road. Libra. Capricorn occupies your solar fourth house of home, family, beginnings and endings, and the subconscious. Saturn moving into Capricorn will highlight these areas for you. It is more than possible that by the time the Saturn transit is complete in 2020, you will have decided to move. If you are super happy where you are living now, then this transit will manifest as sprucing up your living space, especially if it has something to do with refurbishing the old or remodeling. The fourth house is known as the house of beginnings and endings. It is more than possible that you will be thinking of a new future to be had, whether it is around your work, revamping your life, or just revamping your life in general. This can come from the nagging Saturn vibe to get to the core of unconscious behavior and a pull towards books or seminars that are geared to awakening the inner spirit. A recommitment to the family members is part of this mix. It will be based upon who you want to be in relationship to your family, and not from an automatic response of what you thought of as your responsibility. You may even be considering if you want to have a child or whether or not you have the structure in place in your life to bring a child into the world. If you are longing for a child and fearful of not having enough, Saturn suggests that you can overcome that fear by creating a plan. Scorpio. This is for Scorpio, Sun, Scorpio Ascendant. Words, thoughts, and language can be second nature to you. You are natural at being able to see through the bullshit of life and speak to the heart of the matter. With Saturn in Capricorn transiting through your third house of communication, this can be a time of great respect for your thoughts and writings, or a time that the restrictive side of Saturn keeps your thoughts closer to your heart to wait for the best time to express and reveal. Between now and 2020, it's an excellent time to gather your memories from the past and journal your insights. If there is a novel in you, now is the time to set up a schedule for writing. Saturn does demand discipline, but carving out the right time and space to be serious about your writing will be rewarded. This sector of your chart is also about the area that you live in, normally considered your neighborhood. The element of having things be convenient will become highlighted, such as having shortcuts to and from the places you frequent. That will be appreciated and maybe even necessary when Saturn's in the third house. Some of the places that you love to hang out may go through a change of hands. Letting go of your old hangouts and finding new favorite places usually happens during this transition. Siblings, brothers and sisters, are another key word for the third house that Saturn is transiting for you. With Saturn here, you may learn that your Brothers or sisters are making major life choices at this time. You may be asked to a wedding or share in the sorrow of a relationship that has lived its course. Now, this is for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Saturn in Capricorn. The second house of finances is the sector of your chart that Saturn and Capricorn will transit from the very end of 2017, 2018, 19, and most of part of 2020. Getting real about how much you need to have and do what you want will be where this is all about. The second house is one of the money houses of the chart. But it's also a place where your own talents and resources come from, which you can earn money. With Saturn in Capricorn, setting up camp for nearly 3 years in your house of money, you will have plenty of time to hone your skills, to master your trade, and develop your innate gifts to create more prosperity and abundance. Capricorn. So Capricorn, Saturn has arrived in your sign and will be visiting you for the next 2.5, almost 3 years. Have no fear. This is a time that will allow you to focus on what is most important for you to have, to do, and to be, and complete your life for you to fulfill your mission. This may demand that you make some changes. However, the changes will be aligned to your authentic self and not changes of the person you felt you were supposed to be. This is a time when all of the I should have, I could have, would haves can come up to be acknowledged, yet dismissed. Regrets and resentments are common, but only to clear out the energy to create a space of joy and freedom to be your true self, to be true to yourself. And all of this personal development work, what can occur is you leave the old job, find new employment, you decide to get more education to do work that is better suited to your personality and gifts. You set stronger boundaries in relationships, so you have time to focus on yourself. This is an incredibly important time for introspection and reevaluation. If you have been sabotaging your financial well-being or your health, the Saturn and Capricorn transit will demand that you get back to doing what will keep you financially and physically together. Sometimes Saturn passing through your sign can be a complicated time, yet in the years to come you will reflect on the significance it has in redefining your future for the better. It's very, very great time for you. Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius, Saturn and Capricorn will be hanging out in the sector of your chart called the 12th house. This is an interesting placement, as the 12th house is traditionally called the house of, you ready for it? Prisons, hospitals, and monasteries. It is also the part, it's not like you're going to go to the hospital or go to a monastery, but it's the seclusion. It is also the part of life that is hard for us to see. Therefore, it's considered the place to illuminate, to know where we might be sabotaging ourselves. The next few years are incredible opportunity for awareness and growth. You may feel inclined to have more time for yourself. And all of the activities of your friends and your lovers, while great and fun, may be a little bit more than you want during this passage. Having time to retreat will recharge your batteries. As dire as the old interpretation of the 12th house seems, it is actually a fabulous sector when you are interested in spiritual growth, because opportunities will arise for you to get away from the daily grind and spend more time among individuals who are deep thinkers or are committed to helping humanity. A friend may suggest a secret group to connect with, perhaps connected with shamanism and sacred ceremonies. Take your skeptical mind with you with the intention of being open to the truth from higher sources. Since the 12th house also deals with secrets, it is entirely possible for you to find yourself enamored with someone for whatever reason you feel the need to keep the romance secret. The key will be to make sure that this romance is in your best interest and not something to regret down the road. Okay, now this is for Pisces. Pisces, sweet Pisces, your time has come to set the boundaries around your friendships. Saturn transiting through Capricorn for these 2.5, almost 3 years, will be moving through your house of friendships, house of groups, and organization. You will have a few years to make changes, but during this time, the clubs you are members of, the organizations that you donate your time or money to, will all go through a rethink. Some of the friends will organically shift out of your life, out of the picture, as if you intuitively know that the common thread between you has worn thin, and there is not enough to keep the lines of friendship growing. This creates space for new individuals to become friends. With Saturn representing age and wisdom, the friends that you are attracted to can reflect your own personal growth. You will choose your friends with caution so as not to feel obligated to spend time or money doing things that are no longer of interest to you. This can also be a time when the effort and work that you have put into your career begins to pay off. The rewards that you have expected or have been put on hold will free up by the end of Saturn and Capricorn. Your time and effort spent in developing connections during this transit pays off when you are committed to developing deep relationships, mature relationships that are based upon well-defined expectations. Thank you so much for tuning in for our new segue of Saturn going into its rulership in Capricorn. Again, my name's Donna Page. My website's Loving Light Astrologer. I appreciate you checking in and always appreciate a thumbs up and if you know anybody that might benefit from learning about Saturn and Capricorn, please share. Thank you.